Hi, I'm Michael Von Bedungen, founder and CEO of Merchant Ops. Today we're going to discuss some of the key concepts around Merchant Ops so that you can better understand how the solution was built and why some decisions were made. First, we're going to talk about really the product Lakehouse. So there's two main areas you can think about in Merchant Ops. One is the ingest area and two is the catalog. Think of the ingest area and specifically the product Lakehouse as a place where you can upload a corpus of data that you get from brands and manufacturers. And that data may come in the form of spreadsheets. It may come in the form of PDFs. It's all that information you can download from their typical brand portals that they give to you. Now, that information can then be uploaded. So we have the concept of documents. And that's really the section of the website where you begin this process of uploading those documents, as I mentioned, PDFs or even Excel files that you get from the brands. And then we work to import and find the products that live inside those documents. There's another key area of the ingest area that we capture information from, and that's brand technologies. These are generally extracted from PDFs because the PDFs themselves will contain information about a brand's technologies that are used inside of them. For example, this gel Nimbus from ASICS uses something called FF Blast, which is a proprietary technology that they like to highlight. So again, if you look back to some of the information that we store in the brand technologies, you will see that we capture the information here, extracting it from the PDF in this case. Here's the FF Blast Plus. That information in conjunction with the products that are extracted can be used to later create the version that you want to publish, whether it's to your website, to a third-party marketplace, or to another channel, maybe signage inside of your physical store. So that's a key portion of really what the ingest area is, what documents the Lakehouse and the brand technologies are. So next I'll talk about the catalog. The catalog is really intended to be the place where you keep the master copy that you use internally at your company. And the key delimiter, the thing that we use to uniquely identify a product, is your internal identifier, which we call the key. So this might be the reference ID that you keep inside your ERP. It may be a place that you keep inside of your PIM. Could be your e-commerce solution, but generally this is an internal identifier that probably goes back to your ERP solution or wherever you maintain your core merchandising about the products you purchase. So with that information, we really only want to have one version, I would say one instance of that product. Now there can be multiple versions that change over time. And that's another key concept we want to highlight here. When you start out, you may not have a lot of information about a product. You may create a new one and just put in a name, your internal identifier, who the brand is, their style ID if you had it, and then a product type, which we'll talk about in a minute. But at the end of the day, what you end up with are a collection of products uniquely identified by their key. And as you change a product, you create new versions over time. So you never edit an existing version. You always create a new one, and it typically copies the last set of details that you have there. So that's really about products and versions. So let's talk about the attribute dictionary and product types. The attribute dictionary are really the key attributes that you want to store about products. So in the example you see here on the screen, this could be everything from ability level, access, to activities, to adjustable straps, air chambers, age range. All these attributes really depend on the kind of products that you capture about, the attributes that you capture about your products. Now, where are attributes generally used? On a website, they're often used to do filters or facets when you search. So think I'm searching for a particular shirt. I'm going to filter by size or color, or maybe use, whether I wanted to use it for fishing or running or whatever the activity might be. If you're a distributor and you're dealing with HVAC parts, it could be very specific to the kind of air conditioners and things that you use. But at the end of the day, when you set up Merchant Ops, you want to start by creating a set of attributes. And those attributes can be text and not have a predefined set of values, or they can be, as we call, an enum and have a predefined set of values, which constrains the choices that you have. Now, why would you want to basically predefine all the values that are allowed to set for this? Again, that goes back to if you're trying to standardize on a nomenclature when you publish your products on your website so that search is more consistent, this is where it's most useful. So if you think about running shoes, for example, the height of the heel is what people call drop, will generally be done around millimeters, 8 millimeters, 9 millimeters, 10 millimeters. So you can predefine those things. You could predefine the activities that are, you want to sort of organize your products around, whether it's archery or running or anything else, as in this case in the activity. So those are the attributes that you set up generally ahead of time. If you want to define values for them, you can, and that way your merchandisers or the AI solution that we built can select those along the way. And then finally, I'm going to talk about product types. So product types is another core concept. Generally, like attributes, you would set up product types as well at the beginning of using Merchant Ops so that these are already predefined. So when you start to create products and start to ingest products through the Lakehouse, you have the ability to leverage these because they are very important for the enrichment process. So a product type, what is it? It generally defines a kind of product like running shoes, like archery cases, like avalanche shovels, like backpacks, whatever they are. And what those really come with are a collection of attributes. So for a particular thing like archery cases, what are the attributes that you care about? The activity, the weight, the features, the sustainability, the dimensions of the interior, the exterior, right? And you can compare that to something else like a backpack. And what do you care about with a backpack? The activity it can be used for, its weight, its features. Again, the primary fabric, exterior fabric, is there gear access? Does it have a pack frame type? What kind of trip length is it used for? Think about coolers. You'd want to know, for example, the interior dimensions, how many cans can it hold, all that kind of stuff. So again, you don't have to invest heavily in this, but we recommend it because again, when you create products, you want to be able to set the product type, which will then define what attributes you're interested in. And when we use our AI techniques to go out and find the product, we're going to try to find answers for each one of these attributes and save you the effort of actually creating them. Finally, a couple other key areas of the solution are just jobs. So jobs in general are things that require some time to process. So there are really two main kind of jobs that we have in the solution today. One is ingestion. So when you upload a PDF or you upload an Excel file, it goes through an ingestion process. We run that in the background so you can upload multiple documents, go about your daily work, come back and see the results. The other one is enrichment. Enrichment is a process of where we take basic information that you have about a product and we run it through an AI enrichment process. And what do we generally do when we enrich a product? We basically try to do some things, improve the description, improve the features that are written about that product, and we try to harmonize the attributes for that product, meaning maybe we pull down some settings for those attributes on the website. And so, for example, the manufacturer warranty might say, I don't know, lifetime for the warranty. You may use another term like indefinite. So we'll harmonize it to that word indefinite. Or for sustainability, you may say something, have to do with the kind of material that was used, and you have a set of values defined that are different. We will try to match it to your values at the end of the day. And if not, we may create a new one. So we have logic to do that. But that's generally the enrichment process at the end of the day. So that really was to give you a brief overview of the core concepts of Merchant Ops. So again, to kind of summarize, we have an ingestion area that really is mainly concentrated around our Lakehouse, where these imported products from the PDFs and Excel files are stored. We have brand technologies that are extracted from those PDFs, so we can use that when we create descriptions. We have our core catalog area, which is really your master data, if you want to think of it, primarily centered around the products. And as you create products on your solution, you'll be able to reference information that was found from those PDFs or that we find on the web for that particular product from the brand. And then we go through an enrichment process to enhance those, and we create new versions of the product and we label those so you can see the history from what you inputted, what we found on the brand website, what we found in the Lakehouse, and finally what the AI was able to generate, and that becomes your final version. That's it for now. We'll have some additional videos that you'll be able to watch. Thank you for listening, and again, don't hesitate to reach out.